Hey Starbuck, I'm definitely enjoying these conversations. Anytime I can help someone understand the universe a little bit more, it makes me feel pretty good. And I'm hoping I didn't come off too dickish. I can do that occasionally. A lot of my friends just accept it and shake their head and move on. But meeting new people, it's sometimes they can be a little put off. So I'm glad, obviously, I didn't do that because you're still being nice. I do want to touch on a couple things. I just want to do the Galactica thing for just a second. Let's imagine, of course, they didn't have any technology or any manufacturing ability, even though they had been building ships and repairing all this the whole time. But even if they had no manufacturing capabilities to repair the Galactica, or to even rebuild an entire new Galactica, there's nothing saying that they couldn't have just left it in orbit. It didn't need to be jump capable, or it was still flyable. It could have been a space station. There's nothing. It was a space station for a long time when it was around New Caprica. So repairing it wasn't even necessary. Destroying it was completely unnecessary. But anything that was built can be repaired. If they built it once, they could wait a few generations to build up the capability to get the parts and then rebuild it, or take it apart piece by piece and rebuild it in a different form. Anyway, that's not, to me, that's really secondary. It was a plot device, and I took it as such, and it was a good plot device. It worked for the show. I did like the show. I just didn't like the ending and the premise. I still enjoyed all the stories, and I know why they ended it like that, because they kind of had to. I still didn't like it. Moving on, I can be cynical. A little bit. But let me tell you the things that I am cynical about. And there are really only a couple that I can boil down almost everything into. I'm cynical towards the attitudes of the general masses when it comes to following along and not reasoning it out themselves, not using their basic skills of reason. Believing in mysticisms that are dangerous. Even having a lucky charm, or a crystal around your neck, or a cross around your neck to bring good fortune, or the false belief that prayer will alter the will of God to favor you. These are mysticisms that I really get cynical about. So when I see a show like Battlestar Galactica that ends with the idea of, like, the clean slate, that to me is a belief in a mysticism. It's a non-truth. I can enjoy the show and take that into account, but what makes me cynical is I know there's other people watching that will just believe it wholeheartedly. That's the way it is, and that's the way it had to be, and isn't it perfect and beautiful? Gosh, that was so amazing of right. No. It was a good show. I like superhero shows. Let's take a slight analogy. I love superhero shows. X-Men, The Watchmen, I thought was great. All those kind of shows are obviously, to me, not true. And I go in there knowing that it's just a fantasy. And I can still enjoy it. I'm not cynical about that. My best friend, Paul, he's difficult to see a movie with at times because he is the epitome of a cynic and will destroy a movie. He doesn't possess the ability to enjoy a movie if its premise is faulty from the beginning, which is it's good. I enjoy conversations with him after I see the movie, but during the movie it can be a little distracting, I suppose. I still go see movies with him anyway. But he absolutely can't integrate fantasy into that. So I believe there's a good, balance to be had with fantasy and reality, as long as you know going in, or people aren't trying to dupe you into believing that this could be real. The things that I'm not cynical about is the human race in general, the direction that we're taking. There are a few topics that I want to touch on, and I won't do it in this video. I'll say them, but I want to do videos on them all individually. One of the things that I've been following is the new nano-neural interface that came out of the University of Michigan last year. They were able to hook up a nanowire to a brain cell or a single neuron and upload information to it and upload or download information from it. You take that a few generations into the future, and what you have is the Matrix. If you get the brain wired to accept information from another source, even though there are scary aspects of it, the benefits are absolutely fantastic. You could download your entire college information in seconds, instead of having to go through all the memorization and pain of that. You would not have to go through the memorization. You would have the information, but you would still go to school to learn how to use it. That to me is fantastic. Gene doping. I did a short little blurb on gene doping, but I didn't go into it far enough and what it's capable of. Life extension is probably my biggest interest. I personally intend on living several 100,000 years. There are planets to see and things to do, and I need to live a long time. Plus, I just always want to see what's next. It's like on a hiking trip, you always want to see what's over the next hill. I don't want to miss anything. Molecular manufacturing, the whole idea of needing a planet and not having the facilities, especially in Battlestar Galactica or in sci-fi shows, when you have the ability to go into space like that, by that time, because we have molecular manufacturing right now to a minor degree. If we don't have it full-blown in under 20 years, something's definitely wrong. But with molecular manufacturing, you can build anything out of anything. It's like having a magic box that you can just ask to make. You stick in a bunch of garbage and you ask it to make you a cheeseburger, and it takes whatever that garbage is and pumps out a cheeseburger out of the same atoms. That's technically possible, scientifically possible, and they are working towards it. They have it with some basic chemicals, basic materials now, but they're building towards full-blown molecular manufacturing. And once you have molecular manufacturing, you'll be able to do cheap nanomachines, which is another interest I have. A nanomachine that is becoming more and more popular is the respirocyte. It's an artificial red blood cell that holds compressed oxygen, which is the key to life, essentially. Imagine if you have, since oxygen is compressed, it holds 1,000 times more oxygen than a red blood cell, which just uses iron to bond oxygen molecules. So, like my personal hero, Ray Kurzweil, was talking about, with respirocytes in your system, you would be able to hold your breath for 4 hours. Or steadily exhale for 4 hours, because you would have that additional oxygen supply, which changes everything about water living. So I'm not cynical about life. I'm cynical about attitudes of people, especially when it comes to religion, mysticism. I think it mostly can be broken down into that, and science fiction shows really depend a lot on that for the viewer to be fooled by false premises. I still enjoy the shows, but only because I understand the false premises, and afterwards I will still tear them to shreds. But I still like watching them. I don't know if this helps at all make you see that I'm not a total bummer. But actually, I think that's all I got. So I'll do another video as soon as I can.